Welcome, everyone, to the Coach J podcast, episode number 1. I am here with my good friend, Wassim Alroz, and it's an absolute pleasure. I'll give you guys the backstory momentarily, but welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having
It's
me.
so
Man.
good
Well,
seeing you
appreciate
again, man. It's been, if you guys want to know backstory, it's been 5 years since I met this gentleman. Most of you guys know my backstory with Tea with Gary V. Shout out to Gary V. And we met, and lo and behold, we were both from city of Toronto.
Yep.
Wassim reached out and said, "Hey, I'm from Toronto too." And we met, we clicked, we've been friends ever since. I'll let him share his story, but I'm super, super excited and grateful that I have the honor to do this very first episode with the fashion connoisseur in men's fashion, keeping Toronto looking absolutely dapper. If you guys could see this guy's outfit. I'm here in my sweats, but that's who I am with the Coach J fit. Got the J's on, had to get the J1s on. But look at this guy. First of all, tell everyone about this fit right here. How is this fit?
Oh man, it's probably, I would say, my favorite suit in terms of like keeping it classy and elegant. You know, so
right.
The fit for me today is just like it's a bold, strong, powerful look, right?
Blue is always
it is, yeah.
Powerful,
and just the pattern in it too, going with the black tie just to keep it. It's to keep it formal, right?
Okay.
So I wanted to give it a formal look, compared to sometimes wearing like a pinstripe shirt, tone it down, dress it down a little bit. But today I was like, I'm gonna make a statement with this. I'm gonna be bold and strong, and that's what the look for today is.
This is how you come to work. Yeah. This is how I came to work. But listen, the people love it. I love you. I appreciate everything you've meant for me over the last 5 years. A lot of you guys don't know, we went through COVID together. We stayed in touch all those times. You know, we both have families that we have to take care of each and every day. We're both entrepreneur mind, and I think that's why we clicked so well from the get-go, is because we were in lockdown.
Yeah.
And here I pop up on the screen, and I'm having a conversation with Gary, and people were tuning in, and the whole Gym Talk family at that time. But maybe share with us why you got into men's fashion. Give everyone the name of what the fashion, I guess, business is now. And a little bit of backstory on why men's fashion. You know, women's fashion is huge. It probably outweighs men's fashion on multiple levels. But why particular custom suits for men, and why men's fashion?
It started back in 2005. I started working part-time at Timberland.
Okay.
That was like a part-time job, and eventually from there, at that time, they were under the same umbrella as what Tip Top Tailors is now. So it was like Grafton, and then when Timberland shut down, I moved over to Tip Top. So they asked me, "Hey, you want to go Tip Top part-time type of thing?" I was like, "Yeah, cool." I ended up doing that part-time, but that was all like suits, dress shirts, ties, you know.
Right.
So from there on, I went from like wearing streetwear all the time, your boots, the Tim boots, you know, the wheat color that everybody has. I think I had like 8 pairs of them just sitting there. And then when I got into like suits and shirts and ties, that more formal look, I was like, you know, I like this feeling. It was a completely different feeling when you're waking up in the morning and you're getting dressed. And again, or for me, it was like part-time, and then I switched it to full-time. So now it became my full-time job.
Okay.
While going to school, but I was just like, okay, let me do this school. Now I would switch to like online and then part-time night school.
Right.
And I was doing that full-time, you know, needed to have a full-time job, like all that stuff, right? So anyways, when I started doing suits, wearing suits, it was a different feeling for me. Like I started to feel, I feel powerful, like, you know, it meant something. Like I'm walking here, I'm like this 21-year-old kid, and I'm walking into like, whether it's a bank just to take out $20, but I felt like, you know, there's a certain level of respect how people. That's how it is nowadays. It's the image. It's the first image when somebody sees you wearing a suit and the way you're dressed and how you hold yourself together, compared to when I walked in with my Timberland boots. It's just like, you know, unfortunately, it's an unfortunate thing.
Right.
Now it's different. Now fashion, people understand that fashion has elevated. It's different. Like I can still wear my track suits and all that stuff. You're looking fashionable, right? But back then, it was just the feeling that it gave me wearing suits. So I started to get into that fashion world.
Right.
apologize.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I think men's fashion has come a long way. We talk a lot off camera. We talk. I'd send you a message about what's the latest colors and so on and so forth. But for yourself, is there when it comes to suits, you're talking about being a young 21-year-old. So we're talking to the young 21-year-olds, the young 30-year-olds, young maybe 40-year-olds that never put a suit on, right? And here you are back then when you were 21 putting a suit on. Can you maybe talk about to the young person right now that's buying their first suit or getting a custom suit, the little things that they should look for, the foundation things that they should look for when getting that suit? Because you were 21.
Yep.
Yes, you were working for Timberland at the time, you know, and you were kind of in that realm. Timberland's been around for so many years. It's a staple in obviously the hip hop culture and urban culture.
Of course.
It's a staple, especially in Toronto, again, in New York, having Tim boots. Talk about maybe those staple items that you see for men's fashion for yourself. When a client comes in, obviously we'll get to you being one of the leading for custom suits in Toronto, but just staples that people should have.
Staples usually will start out with as a young 21-year-old, you're starting, it used to be back in the day getting your first black suit. You would start with a black suit. Now I look at it more as I would start with like a gray suit. It's more versatile.
Okay.
And then you get into your navies.
Gray suit.
There you go. You got the gray suit on.
It's a staple of Coach Shay. It's staple. We are always gray. We got grays always in the color palette.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, over even in like casual wear, like it's a lot of the grays that you'll see, right?
Okay.
But I would say suit-wise, it's got to be a good fitting suit. To me, that's rule number one. It's got to be a good fitting suit compared to trying to buy something where it doesn't fit too well, and it kind of like, it doesn't matter how much it costs at that point. If it does not fit well, it's not going to look good.
Right.
But I would say starting off grays.
Yeah.
Obviously, you got different patterns.
Right.
And then you get into your blue.
Right.
Then have a black suit. But a black suit nowadays, to be quite honest with you, like I think I went about 2 years where nobody was buying any black suits unless it was like
from you
formal. Yeah. Like 2-3 years, nobody was doing any
No
black
one's buying
suits.
a black suit?
No, unless it was like a wedding tuxedo, unless it was like, unfortunately, for like a funeral or anything like that.
Right.
But now everybody's starting to get back into it, but they're styling it differently. Now it's just become like hey, let me have some fun with it. Let me do a double-breasted. Let me put some gold buttons on it.
Right,
you know, so
right,
that I can wear it casually as well. I can put a t-shirt underneath it.
Yeah.
And then sneakers, and then it's still gonna look good. And then when it comes down to it, then you can put on a dress shirt, white dress shirt to make it more formal. Okay. So I went through a span, I think in the last 3 months, I made like at least 5-6 black suits where it was just like casual, like more of like I need a black suit in my closet, but let's have some fun with it.
So people are coming back to traditional black suit, full circle. You know, I always, and we've talked about this before, and I've had numerous conversations when people talk about fashion. I always say there's two, in kind of your everyday, day-to-day, being at home or out on the street, there's two items that will never go out of style. Is jeans and white t-shirts. No. I just feel that you can dress it up, you can dress it down. Those are staples. I know you post a lot on your IG with a lot of, you know, I would say not casual, too casual jeans, but more dressed up jeans where you're putting a blazer on or you're putting a cardigan with it.
Exactly, yeah.
Maybe talk to the people that don't want to dress up too much to go back into office, or if they're going to, you know, a semi-formal meeting, but styling it with a pair of jeans. Yeah. What are those key elements that people who love a nice pair of jeans, what are they looking for in that jean cut?
Well, it's got to be, it's fashion, right? So before, I think the last 10 years at least, it's just been like this slim, narrow cut pant jean, you know, that you're gonna wear a dress shirt, a casual shirt, or a t-shirt, and then put on a blazer. Now, the thing with me is I follow what's going on in Europe. Okay. And mostly like the fashion, where the fashion world kind of comes from, right? Right. Whether it's Europe, some parts of the state, how they're dressing up. Unfortunately, it takes us about 2 years for Canada to catch up. Okay. That's why I've been so into it, because I'm like, hey, I want to be part of elevating fashion, you know, and then making things happen a little bit more quicker than by the time we start to wear what's trending in the fashion world. Right. They've changed the style now, right? So Jeans right now, yeah, you're talking a little bit more on the looser side now. So
Okay.
things are starting to get a little bit more looser.
So we're going
wider
back
bottom. Yes,
to
we are,
almost the
exactly.
early, the late 80s, early 90s, where it's a little bit more baggier.
So the fit you're talking about, if it'll fit nicely around the thigh, knee,
Right.
and then like around the bottom is not too narrow like it used to be.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
that's
again, we're
what's going on
coming.
now. Now it's
and
just, again, that's coming along, right?
so full circle on a little bit looser
Exactly.
from a jean standpoint.
Exactly, yeah.
What you talked about being Europe being, ahead of us and us being here. There could be a two-part question for you. One, when you look at the big names, so you look at Prada, Chanel, Gucci, Coach, all these big name brands when it comes to fashion sense and fashion forward. Some of their key elements have still been very staple, very basic, very, you kind of see it. I was a huge fan of Vera Wang. I'm still a huge fan. Shout out to Vera Wang. Huge fan of her. I've always been that way. I just love the dresses she made when it came to Oscar, seeing the ladies who are wearing the Oscar dresses, if she happened to do a men's suit, like just that style of person. Just her style, it resonated with me. When it comes to your style of dressing your athletes or dressing your entrepreneurs and stuff, is there a staple that you like? People have their autograph. That's their staple. You're always going to see that. Is there a staple for you that you're like, I know that person's wearing my gear, or that person's like, yeah, it's Wassim?
Yeah. So that's actually what I'm trying to kind of get into right now, right? So it's adding, and I'm collaborating with someone to try to do something like that, where it's like, okay, if once you see that suit,
they know it's from you.
It's done by Wassim, So that's a project for me that I'm working on. That, as you're saying, like you'll see, like I'll see a Tom Ford suit and all that stuff, and I'm like, okay, I know what this person's wearing, right? So that's what I'm trying to get into now. Like it's trying to create that
style, that brand awareness. That's why people know it's from you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Being in this space now, when it comes to custom versus off the rack. And a lot of people will say, hey, I can go off the rack and get this suit for blank amount of money. Opposed to going custom and paying for your services, your time, your effort. And you guys got to realize, this guy is very intricate. I've dealt with him personally. I've seen his style. I watch his Fashion Fridays, and we talked about him doing this thing on IG and going to be on TikTok momentarily. But is there a sense of, craft that goes into your style and what you're bringing that person versus going off the rack? Because a lot of people will be like, I can get it off the rack, but I'm a big advocate for you. My thing is, you got to see Wassim, because there's a huge difference. And it's not till the person comes through the door that they'll know that difference.
Yeah, well, it's number one for me. I'm big on like the experience, right?
If you guys see it here, the brother has full stock, full stock. All I'm gonna say, full stock.
I'm also becoming like a connoisseur for like drinks and mixing.
Cigars are here, it's awesome. So go on. Sorry.
So, no, it's experience for me is huge, and it is. It's the relationship, right? It's creating a relationship with every single client that comes through. So even after they walk out of here and they get the suit, you get some times where I'll get a message like later on saying, hey, I'm wearing this suit, suit that I made with you, but hey, I really wore it. Like, what else can I wear it with?
Right.
And then I'll get an idea of what's in their closet. All right, mix it with this and wear it for this. And but yeah, when it comes to like a custom, yes, we're very detailed. Look at like specifics. Every garment has a story, and it's like a one of one, right? So we're gonna do a one of one. Yes, there's a lot of stuff that's off the rack, and people love. The thing with men is like they're going shopping. I like it, buy it.
Right.
It's that type of. That's how we think. It's just it's spontaneous. It's on the spot. Custom is like you're planning to get something in 2 weeks, in 3 weeks, and in 4 weeks. Right. It's almost like when you're ordering a car. You got to wait for it to come through. You want specific details to be done to it, right? So custom, it comes, the the clients that I deal with, they're patient enough to understand, like, okay, this is going to take some time. It's a process, the craftsmanship that's put into every single suit,
right?
The little details that they're asking for that they're not going to find it off the rack, right? It's not easy to find off the rack. So, yeah, that's what, for me, it's just taking the time and enjoying the whole process of it.
Right.
And then you got the excitement of when it comes in, right? So.
Awesome. That's awesome. And that actually segue into my next question, which you kind of answered, is the misconception that people will have about custom. You know, I'm paying for something that's custom, but the price difference is so big. Yeah. For some people, they can't imagine coming in and dropping 5 Gs, 4 Gs, 10 Gs, you know, 15 Gs on a suit that they might wear once or twice in their lifetime. But on the flip side, and I always say this, you can't duplicate experience.
No, you can't duplicate experience. It's also the material, like you're looking at a very like it's a quality suit.
Right.
And you're picking amazing fabrics, top of the line fabrics, very exclusive fabrics that are, you're looking at, for example, some fabrics are from farms that are in, like, for example, somewhere in Italy, you know, where they're taking care of their animals, and the way they take care of the wool, and the way they yarn the wool and all that stuff, right? So it's those little details. So you're picking out an expensive, luxurious fabric that, yes, you're only probably going to wear once a month. That suit's going to be worn once a month because it's delicate. Right. You got to make sure you take care of it properly. Right. But the flip side about it is everybody looks at a custom suit is how they want to style it. Everybody immediately is like, custom, yeah, I get to do this with the line. I used to be like that too, right? Right. The exciting part about it was, for me, it was like, okay, I got to pick out a cool button, I got to pick out my lining and all that stuff. Now it's different for me. Now it's a fit, number one. Right. You got to be comfortable in it, right? So the fit, when you wear a custom suit, the minute you feel like it's comfortable, you're gonna be like, this is not like off the rack. It doesn't matter what the patterns and all that stuff. And I've had clients that are like, hey, listen, I'm uncomfortable in suits. I've bought so many suits and I don't like how they feel. And then just recently, a client came, he put on it, he's like, I do not feel like this is restricting me. Hey, I might look into wearing suits more often if this is how they're gonna feel like. Right. So it's fit is number one. Right. Being able to feel comfortable. And then after that, hey, let's just have some fun with the custom lining and the buttons and the monograms and what do you want to write on the inside and all that stuff. Right. And that's one of your staples. I know I've dealt with you when it comes to personalizing people's name on inside of the lapel or back of the collar, putting family names, so on and so forth. Favorite fabric to use right now? Right now. What do you really enjoy? If a person comes in and says, hey, I want to use this, you're like, my favorite, I know this is about to be stellar. Well, one of my favorite mills is actually Loro Piana. Okay. It's either Loro Piana or working with Xenia fabrics.
Okay. And explain to the audience.
They drape very well, right? They sit on the client very well. They're durable. You can actually buy Loro Piana fabrics. They have their own stores, and you can walk in and pick out whether they have their sweaters, their pants, and all that stuff. Right. But just making suits with that, and then pairing it up with a good canvas. Suits, it needs a good canvas. Right. On the inside. So the canvas, which goes in between the front and the back of the jacket, right? So that's inside, which is made out of, majority of it is made out of horsehair. Okay. Right. So that is what kind of like shapes and makes the garment drape and sit well on a customer. And then after you start to wear it with a suit, usually the first time you put it on, it's a little bit more restricted. Third, fourth time, you're like, it feels great. Right. And it's that's to the canvas that's on the inside. Okay. Right. So when you're constructing a suit, we get to do that. So with some clients, I'm like, okay, let's go a little bit less with the canvas because we're doing a sport jacket, it's unstructured sport jacket, right? Or we're going like with a full suit where it's like Loro Piana has they do very well with cashmere. Okay. And I have one client that wears strictly cashmere. Only cashmere? Yeah, he's just like, I need cashmere, whether it's obviously we're in Canada, so something a little bit more on the warmer side. Right. But it just feels amazing. Like you put it on and it's a great feeling, right? He's able to move comfortably, it doesn't get too hot in it, it's breathable at the same time. But I would say Loro Piana and Xenia are my favorite nails to work with.
When you're looking to customize suits in general, and I know we had talked in the past, you know, potentially doing obviously women's suits as well, and they're vastly different areas of what people like and don't like.
Yeah.
How far in advance do you have to be when it comes to seasons? Right now, we're kind of in the winter.
Yeah.
Are you already thinking summer, or are you thinking spring?
Yeah.
So you're thinking summer.
Yeah.
What are some of the upcoming colors we're going to see for maybe the summer collection?
Spring, and right now, so in about 2 weeks, you start to bring in spring fabrics.
Okay.
So the spring fabrics start to come in, and you're looking at like, it's these the sand, ivory, creams, right?
Right.
I think before it was always like when we're looking at pants, like we're saying, if you're making something,
Right.
it was the grades of blue. Now we're adding in ivory. Like I think every man should have like an ivory cream pant in their closet or
Okay.
a suit,
Okay.
right? I know we've done a
Yeah. But comfortability has to be there also, I think, Wassim. Like,
absolutely.
you know, not every guy is going to feel
No.
comfortable in cream. White pants is one of those things as well, where a lot of people don't, they're just not comfortable within, for whatever reason, within themselves. It doesn't matter. It's just, you're just not comfortable wearing that. How do you bridge that gap? Do you do a tone darker and say, hey, we'll kick it down a notch?
Of course, we'll start with a tone darker than that, and then
because men is always blacks, grays, and blues. Like,
listen, I had a client, and I have a client right now, and I've been selling him clothes, I think, for almost 12 years.
Yeah.
And I think I've sold him every shade of black, every shade of like blue, gray, and up until I think the last 6 months, I was able to get him into like a louder blue,
Right.
green,
Right.
you know,
Wow.
like like those kind of
Explore.
shades. Exactly. Let's explore. Let's start like, you know, and he's an entrepreneur.
Okay.
And a really good friend of mine, but it took some time for him. Like I said, 12 years, and you're only been wearing black and gray and blue. Now he's like, all right, show me what else you could do. Let's
Right.
do this, you know. So the burgundies, the greens, but it took some time. But I think every man, like as you're saying, some guys are not comfortable with it,
Right.
and that's been one of my main things. Is just like when I wear stuff and I go out, I get a lot of, yeah, you could pull that off. I can't, and it's, why not?
Right.
You know, like I never started like this. I never, hey, let me wear these loud colors. It's just
Right.
being comfortable and being confident in wearing it.
Yeah,
Right? Now
yeah.
you're gonna get the eyes that look at you like, is this guy crazy? Like, what the hell is he putting together? But
Right.
as long as, if I dress you and I'm putting the colors together, trust me, it's gonna. You
It's
can
gonna-
walk in
it's gonna-
anywhere, they're gonna be like this. And it's also walking with confidence. So.
I'm going to give you two things that I'm seeing
Yeah.
right now, and we're going to get to the first one right now. Is people are probably looking at me like, explain this, man. Like I've seen you with this on, so you know you've done some IGs with this on. Explain how this came about, and what would explain it? Is it a robe? Is it a jacket? Is
So
it a
it's
house
smoking
coat?
jacket. It's like a smoking jacket, martini jacket.
Martini
This
jacket.
is like what Hugh Hefner would usually wear, right?
Okay.
So with clients that I sell to clients, it's even especially for clients that smoke.
Right.
So it's almost like, and I got one client that he takes it with when he travels with, right? So
Wow.
he smokes. So I would wear this right now on top of my suit. So if
Right.
when I'm smoking a cigar,
Right.
the scent of the cigar stays on the jacket and not on my suit.
On the suit.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're almost masking that
Yeah,
smell.
yeah. And then some other gentlemen just wear it at home, you know, as like
Just
a
house
night,
jacket.
Yeah, like a night jacket, yeah.
Okay.
But
okay.
just patching it together, like kind of like, I'm like, you know what, just go crazy with it and put every single color, right?
right.
Or we could style it differently. We could do a velvet. I have another one in the showroom over there. It's a
Right.
velvet,
Okay.
picking out different trims on the outside, the roping, you know, all that stuff, yeah.
We're seeing this, I guess, entrepreneurial style mindset now from celebrities and more importantly, you know, athletes, I wouldn't say more importantly, but athletes, celebrities, even entrepreneurs who are you know always were pushing a brand. We're now seeing a huge uptick on people going out on their own
Yep.
and starting that whatever it is that they were pushing before, they're now doing it on their own
Yep.
because they want a different voice. And I'll give you an example. Kyrie Irving has now gone out and do the Anta shoe.
Yeah.
Brother, I mean,
Have you tried them?
I have not tried them.
It's so funny because I saw it yesterday and I was about to go to Foot Locker. I'm like, I need to get a pair just to try them because I respect that guy like crazy. But
I'm so fascinated with the mindset on the why he did it and now how it evolved so quickly to take him to where he is now. And now he's getting other athletes, not only on his team, but around sports to buy into that culture, buy into that community, buy into the why, right? Like at the end of the day, if you can have people buy into your why and they can resonate with that why,
that's exactly
it's
what it is,
that. I mean, your vertical is the company doesn't go like this.
No.
It's just constantly going straight up. Why are we seeing that?
I think it's because it's just with him, like he believed on something and he stood on it. Right. Like he went through a period of time where everybody's like, "Hey, Nike's dropping him. These brands are dropping him. Nobody wants him," type of thing.
Right.
But when you get to a point where, like, you've built your name and he's a respectable person, he mastered his craft. Right. So now they're looking at, hey, like I would buy anything from him.
Right.
Because he stood. It didn't matter who was dropping him, who didn't want him, who was talking bad about him. And that's, I think, what's going on now. Like, you work at certain places, like my old previous job where I was, and I decided, hey, I want to leave. Right. What's the reason you want to leave? Oh, I'm going to start something on my own. Oh, do you really think like the clients that you're helping out now, they're going to follow you? No, these are our clients. Right. These are our brand's clients. They're not coming to you. I'm like, I didn't say anything. You obviously don't say anything at the time, but you believe it because you're like, hey, I worked hard on these relationships. These relationships that I have with these clients, you think it's only inside here, but you don't know outside that we go out to dinners and we go over, we start inviting each other out. Right. So when you work at a place or whatever brand that you work with, they tend to believe like, okay, his relationships are inside here. No, you got to create those relationships that are outside of these doors. How you are outside of those doors. So when you believe in yourself in that sense, I feel like you can leave, and then it could take a longer time, right? So with him, it was like, for example, going back to Kyrie, he's like to believe in yourself and you believe what you stand by and what he stood for at that time. He's like, I can do it. I can make my own brand. I could, start something new, and he did, right? And now at one point, like I was like, I couldn't buy these sneakers in Canada. It was only in the U.S. Right. And now they're starting to come here. So right. That's what it is with everyone. I think once you start to believe in yourself, you know that you're the brand, no matter where you are. Right. No matter where you're working, if you believe that you're the brand, you could do it. Right.
Tell people, or tell that young person, or that young entrepreneur, or that entrepreneur that might be a little bit older, our age, whatever it is, maybe that might be starting out or in a transition period, leaving where they currently are, going on their own. Obviously, you walk with a lot of confidence, not only in what you wear, but your mannerism, who you are as a person, and getting the clientele you've taken the time to build those over the time and go out, because it's not easy. Not everybody, is going to want to pay what they're going to pay to get accustomed to. What is different between you and the next person, and you and off the rack, and you versus someone just going into a store and paying $99 for a suit? Why are people going to come to you at the end of the day?
Well, like I said, for me, it's not just selling a suit. It's like, aside from the experience, it's the continuous. Like, you can have only bought one suit from me, but you'll always get that advice. You'll be able to reach out to me where it's like, hey, dude, I'm going to this event. Or I got this, or I'm traveling, I'm going away, and you're not necessarily, but because of me, it's suits, sport jackets. I don't sell like whether it's like swimwear, right? Like that, like casual stuff. If you're going away, I still get my clients to say, hey, I'm going to this. What do you think I should wear? Right. Or what do you think I should take with me? So I'm open on that sense too, because now at that point it's just become like the relationship building where they trust my fashion sense.
Right.
And somebody will be like, I'm going to Italy. I'm not necessarily wearing sport jackets. I'll take one sport jacket.
Right.
But what do you think I should be wearing? All right, wear these shorts, buy these shorts. They'll be shopping in the mall. The amount of times I've gotten like FaceTime calls.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, hey, I'm trying to buy something from this place. It's not even from me, right? So,
right.
But
Giving them that extra support.
It's just being like actually truly being like somebody's stylist.
Right.
Rather than, hey, I'm a salesperson trying to get you in a suit or a sport jacket or whatever it is. But
that's
yeah.
awesome.
So aside from the experience, it's just like the lifetime relationships and trying to help elevate the fashion sense.
That's amazing. When we talk about elevation, and I have to go to this question because it's going to come up. I know it's come up for myself, being an entrepreneur, being in the fitness industry, being in the business world now, from looking at properties to marketing to investing, whatever you're looking at.
Yeah.
AI is now going to play a big part of that moving forward. And if you're not getting into AI, you're going to be kind of left behind.
Yeah.
How do you see AI playing a big part in the fashion world? And are you ready to incorporate AI into what you do to enhance your craft? And bridge that gap that you might be not bridging yet.
No, I mean we all gotta. For me, I'm like a tech person, right? So.
Oh, okay. See, did not even know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like it's always been like, okay, whether it's looking at Apple or Android or Samsung or whatever it is, like from years ago, like as they go up, like I think I have to buy like the newest model of every phone every year it comes out.
Okay.
Especially if there's something new, right? So now seeing this AI stuff, I think it was like a couple of years ago where I was like, okay, this is coming.
Right.
Now I haven't really I'm not, I understand it and I know people go online. Even if you go like on Google now and you search something sometimes, it'll show you like the AI answers of it, right? The generic version. It's not anymore like it used to be where there's these tabs and then you click on one, it just gives you on, you're like, wow, this is incredible, right?
Yeah.
And everybody can use it. Like it's open to everyone. But for me, it's, like I said, now I'm in that this year, the focus is to start to get into that a little bit more, whether it's in social media, the TikToks and all that. To be a little bit more out there, but.
Where do you see fashion 5 years from now?
Fashion in the world, well, to me, it's fashion in Canada. Like how.
Okay.
Right. It's
trying to elevate our game.
Elevate our game. Yeah. My main focus is to elevate our game. Like I love walking into places and then seeing people dressed up, right? And again, it's not necessarily wearing a suit. Like I don't like, hey, I want to go here and see everybody wearing a suit. No, it's just like being able to. We're wearing what Europe is wearing.
Okay.
That's always been my thing. So again, not just Europe, but like any fashion world but because it stems from Europe and that's where it starts, like from Italy and right. So that's what I want for Canada to get on that level, right? It's show up to events, show up to parties, show up to whatever it is, and then see everybody on their A game. Everybody's looking good, dapper, and whatever that you're wearing, clean. Again, for guys, there's nothing like looking like that.
Yeah. As we wrap up here, what is some of the key, I guess, going back to if a person's just starting out, okay, they're, going in for a new job interview or going into a business meeting because they're a young entrepreneur trying to get maybe funding, crowdfunding, whatever the case may be, doing their pitch, doing their elevator pitch. What would you tell them is a must they have to have when they're dressing up? Is it the jacket? Is it the pants? Is it the shirt? Is it the tie? Is it the watch or the bracelet? What is that one thing you're saying, hey, this is a must because people will look at you for this? Shoes. My dad, God rest his soul, my dad always told me shoes, clean fingernails and shoes.
Yep, 100%.
Those are the two things. He said, Jay, you can have everything else could be presentable, but if you have amazing shoes on and your fingernails are well groomed and you talk with confidence, you're probably going to get the job.
I was going to say, so confidence number one. You're speaking with confidence.
Yeah.
your dad said it, God rest his soul, your fingernails, shoes, you'll always tend to see like when you walk into places, like immediately goes down to shoes. What is he wearing for shoes, right?
Right.
That's why like right now I feel like those sneakerheads and whoever it is, like the fashion, like the guys who love shoes,
Right.
it's grown. Like that's grown. Like I see it even here in Toronto or in Canada.
Right.
That people like their shoe closet is insane.
Right.
Right. Compared to like their
Everything else.
yeah. It's
More shoes than even suits.
and I have the same thing with me. I'm like, bro, why is my closet like this big in terms of shoes? But
Right.
that's another thing. For me, wearing a suit or wherever, if you're going to an interview or a job or whatever it is, or believe it or not, like wearing this, okay, you're putting on a jacket, which is fine, and you have your shirt, but it's the pocket square.
Pocket square.
Yeah, like
Guys,
I
the
can't-
pocket square.
I can't see this like an empty pocket because like you can wear a white tee underneath it, and then the minute you put in you put in a pocket square that it'll make it. That's gonna dress it up a little bit, right? If you're wearing a white tee with sneakers, and then a sport jacket, cool pocket square will like make a big difference.
The pocket square is the go-to.
Yeah.
You think is
gotta
the
have a
game
good-
changer.
I think you gotta have a good selection of pocket squares, and in every jacket, every suit, you need a pocket square.
That's the staple.
yeah.
That's a
Personally, for me,
Yeah.
if I leave the house and I forgot a pocket square, I feel lost. I'm like I'll get here and I'll take a pocket square from like.
Yeah.
I have to have one in my pocket.
You're saying it's the go-to. You're making sure clients understand the importance of a pocket square that brings everything together.
It brings everything together, and it just adds like, okay, this guy, he understands fashion, right? Wow. And don't just wear your white pocket square just to get away with it. Get a few of them, the different colors, different patterns, to be able to mix them.
I'll have to get myself some pocket square.
Yes,
Bro, it's been a pleasure. It's always episode 1 in the bag, the Coach J podcast. My man, Wassim. Please let everyone know where they can find you.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
So the brand name is No Adonis Sartorial Garments. And for those who don't know, No Adonis is after my 2 kids. Named it after my 2 kids. I'm out here in Woodbridge on 81 Zenway Boulevard. And then, like I said, on social media, it's No Adonis, and that's on Instagram. And then just created a TikTok account, so hopefully we'll go live on there. And it's No Adonis Sartorial Garments, and just start with the content and have fun with it. You know?
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Yo, it's been a pleasure. Congratulations on success.
so much, man.
Keep it going. Keep everyone looking style and profile.
Yeah.
Get your pocket squares.
Get your pocket squares.
Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Peace out from Coach J, Wassim, and the fashion world. We'll see ya.